Good evening to all the students. Today, as you know, there is a lecture of Cambridge, and again, Miss Anju will be taking over. The topic is emotional intelligence. Over to Miss Anju. Thank you.
Good evening and thank you, Janvi. As mentioned, the topic is emotional intelligence. So you would have been attending the sessions from the past 3 days, and you'd have got enough and more inputs regarding soft skills or the different aspects or different topics with related to soft skills. And in fact, you would have been able to connect how these topics are interrelated or connected also. So we cannot see these things as separate. So it can be related to stress management. It can be even related. There are aspects. Understand that there are aspects of these in each and every soft skill topic that we cover in these days, right? So without much, okay, let me move on to my topic as such. So would be covering aspects like okay, basically what I'll be dealing with what emotional intelligence is and what you need to do to adapt, change. Ultimately, see, it's adjusting or adapting. So living life or whatever we do, whether it is academics or non-academics or whether it is social life, it is ultimately about changing or adapting to change, and how this element called or this ingredient called emotional intelligence helps in managing these or managing these aspects. But so, can you try to recount or recollect the emotions that you've experienced in the last 24 hours? Are you able to recollect the emotions that you were experiencing in the last 24 hours? How many of you are able to recollect the different kinds of emotions that you have been experiencing, or maybe in the past 10 hours or 5 hours, like that? So there are different emotions that you would have experienced, and if you write it down, or will you be in a position to compare in which of these situations that you reacted and which of the situations that you responded? Are you able to recollect? So I just asked you to recollect or recount the emotions that you had over a period of the past 24 hours, or even 10 hours will do, or let's make it 5 hours, fine. And compare the situations in which you reacted and situations where you responded, right? So are you able to recount that? In which all situations did you, in which all situations did you respond, and which all situations did you um, react? So there is a good difference between responding and reacting in the situation, because which is very important to need for you to understand what this concept is all about. So compare the so I asked you in which, so there are situations where we try to react very fast, and there are sometimes situations where you respond. Your teacher asks you a question and you respond to the question. Whereas your friend asks you something, or friends tell you, your friend tells you something and you react back, or your mom at home tells you something and you react back. So what would be the basic difference between reaction and responses? So basically what we do is whenever we come across situations or whenever we have these kind of emotions, we tend to react rather than tend to respond. So the basic thing about reaction and response is when you react, it is like an impulse. It's an action that is in a reverse direction. So somebody beats you, somebody gives you gives you a beating, and you beat back. So it's a that is impulsively you react, and that that reverse response, or which happens in the reverse direction, gives you a certain sense of satisfaction. So your pain is eased and you feel that, okay, everything has been done. But when you respond, what happens is you're thoughtfully or you're saying something which is very thoughtful and which is done with reasoning. So you think about it and then speak. So excuse me, Janvi, can you share the can you all see the PPT that I'm sharing?
No, ma'am, we cannot.
What happened? I do not know. 1 second.
Yes.
What about now?
No, ma'am.
I think it's already open there.
Ma'am, we are not able to view it.
Okay. Now?
No, ma'am.
Can you see it now?
No,
I've
ma'am.
shared.
No, ma'am, it's not visible.
One minute.
Yes. Students, please wait for a moment.
Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am, I can see
Okay.
it. Yes.
I don't know what happened earlier. Fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it clear? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the screen visible now?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. Yes. So I was talking to you about the difference between reaction and response. So what is expected is more of a response. So usually nobody likes reactions. Okay, somebody speaks ill about you and you speak back. So you are happy with it or you're satisfied. But a thoughtful response or a thoughtful response and done with reasoning, that helps you to, that is, you think and formulate the ideas in mind and then speak. So that is what response is all about. So it is this response that everybody requires. And they will, so when you give a response, the other person also will, or when we say in communication, the other person also tries to understand it. Whereas if you react, there'll be no, you will not get a positive response from the other side. So what type of, I was talking to you about the experience, emotions, the different kinds of experience that you were experiencing in the last 5 hours. So what type of emotions did you experience? What type of experience? Is it happy, or is it joyful? Is it pleasant? Then irritating? So there are different kinds of emotions which you would have gone through in this last 5 years, 5 hours, right? So, and if you try to find out, okay, we were talking about emotions, and what resulted or what triggered these kind of emotions in you. So first is I asked you to recollect the emotions. What were your reactions, or how many of these emotions did you react, and how many of them you responded? And again, what triggered or what was the cause of all these emotional reactions? In some you would have responded, and in some you would have reacted. So what exactly is the cause? Is it, so try to find out or identify, is it people, is it situation, if it's something, or if it's some remarks, if it's some places, or is it some particular word, or is it some particular behavior or action of some other, or is it the time? So you'll be, if you can identify that, it would be fine. So so why is managing or regulating the emotions crucial? That is, it has been in the definition also, it is said emotional intelligence is the ability to manage one's emotions and those of others. So if you are in a position to respond positively, respond in a good way, the person on the other side, or that is a receiver also tries to respond or you get a positive response. So this capability of, that is, to manage one's own emotions and those of others. So emotional EI gives an edge over others, or it gives us a capability to discern different feelings or different emotions of ours as well as others. So the two crucial words are, the two important words here are managing and regulating. Managing and regulating of emotions, and use the emotional information to guide our thinking and behavior, so that we can adapt to different environments and achieve one goals. So whatever be it, whether we are in the class or in our career or in the workplace, whether we are or in our interpersonal relationships, the way you communicate, the way you handle your stress. So you cannot run away from stress, but how you manage or handle the stress in all these situations, the your ability to manage your emotions and regulate these emotions matters. So managing and regulating emotional information accurately and effectively, both within yourself and others. So managing and regulating the emotional information. So that is information with regard to the emotions that you experience within yourself, accurately and effectively, in such a way that, so once you're able to manage those emotions within yourself, and it will also help you to manage, or it will help you to interact and respond positively, or bring about some positive responses, or make it more effective and regulate in others also. That is what emotional intelligence basically is all about. So emotional intelligence, this forms a crucial, or it is a juncture, or it is a position at which our cognition, that is ability to think, and emotions meet. So it is not emotions alone. When we mean emotion, it is not emotions alone. The ability to think effectively. That is, what matters is our cognition, the ability to think and emotion. So it is the particular juncture, or it is the particular place where emotions as well as the cognition meet, which facilitates our capacity for resilience, empathy, reasoning, then stress management, our ability to read and navigate across a multitude of situations and conflicts. So how we try to interact by using our cognitive capabilities as well as emotions. So there are places or there are situations where emotions and your cognitive abilities meet together. So it is not emotions alone, but you reason out. And as a result, what happened? This meeting of emotions and intelligence or your cognitive capabilities brings about certain changes, or it enhances our or facilitates the capacity for resilience, the ability or to empathize, to be empathetic and reasoning. It helps us to reason, okay, why am I behaving like this? How quickly I can handle this? Is it right for me to speak like this? Is it right for me to do like this in this situation? Or manage my stress properly. So you try to think, it is not emotions alone. So you try to think about the emotions, whether they are right. As I told you, when you give a response, you think, formulate, and then speak. So it is not just blurting out whatever comes to your mind. Do you think, okay, you think in your mind, okay, is it really appropriate for me to speak? Is it really appropriate for me to do or behave like this in such a situation? Then you respond. So that kind of response helps you to be assertive, and at the same time, it helps you to be empathetic, then manage your stress, and it also helps you to read and navigate situation, read other person's emotions at the same time, so that you are in a position to regulate it. So it is not your, as I told you, it is not your emotions and not your responses alone. You think about, you become more empathetic, and as a result, you try to read and navigate your thoughts as well as the other person's thought and move across in a multitude of situations and conflicts. So that is how we manage. So are you in a position to recognize the emotions that you're feeling now? So right now you're in the class. Okay, I can see that, okay, 844 of you are there. So are you in a position to, you may be thinking of many different thoughts, myriad thoughts are running across your mind. So are you in a position to understand what those feelings are? Or what are the kind of emotions which it arouses, or feelings which it brings forth in you? So is it really bothering you? How many of your thoughts are bothering you? So are you in a position to understand the emotions of others at the same time? Not now, later. You can think about it later. So are you in a position to understand the emotions of others and respond effectively? So when you talk to people, when you communicate to people, when you talk, let it be your friends, let it be your family members, let it be the formal group that you're interacting with. Are you in a position to understand or sense to understand the emotions of others and respond effectively? So it plays a emotional intelligence plays a crucial role, or it plays a meaningful role in our success, both let it be, or in a whenever we communicate, academic success, career growth. It helps you to maintain the establish relationship, build relationships, and at the same time maintain the relationships. So what is the mental and physical health that you have? Or it brings about better mental and physical health and in your success also. So it is a vital prerequisite in areas like, people who are in the service industry, especially, or in the health sector now. So these people are able to sustain or survive because of this vital prerequisite, because they are empathetic, they are in a service mode, because especially nursing, people in the health sector, service industry, even people who play different management roles, all this is, so here it is the role of emotional intelligence, or how you regulate and manage the emotions matters a lot. So there are sometimes so there are occasions. It is not that we'll be able to complete our emotions or manage our emotions every always. So there's sometimes that is most often we may not be able to control or manage the emotions, and that results in so chronic stress, then which results in depression, then anxiety, then again at a greater extent it leads to hypertension, certain diseases like lifestyle diseases like diabetes, then heart ailments, infections, injuries. So this ripple effect goes on like this. But the root cause of all this is the inability to manage the emotions or try to understand the emotions. So Daniel Goleman, who has studied this or who has come up devised this third term, has mentioned about five categories of emotional intelligence. Five categories of emotional intelligence. So it starts with self-regulation, the ability to manage self-awareness and self-regulation. So self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand one's own emotions and the impact on others. So the awareness of our own emotions, our own thoughts, our own feelings, and at the same time, the impact of your thoughts and feelings on others. So how often are we thoughtful about this? So it is not awareness about your own self, but at the same time, we think we think about the other person also. That is self-awareness, and then the other aspect is self-regulation, regulating our own self, the ability to manage one's own negative or disruptive emotions. So through self-regulation, what happens is we try to control our own negative emotions or disruptive emotions and try to adapt to changes in according to circumstances. So this happens very quickly. So how thoughtful are we about, or how often do we look inwards and try to understand these things? So it is the ability, so self-regulation is the ability to manage one's own negative thoughts and then adapt to the changes in circumstances. So those who are skilled in self-regulation excel in managing conflicts. So they can leaders, for example. So those leaders, that is why they are leaders. So they are able to manage the conflict. They are able to adapt to change well and more likely to take responsibility. So it is not a big task. See all the things, see all the soft skills developments happens from within, happens from our thoughts. So the root cause is our own emotions. The root cause is lies within us. So if you are in a position to spend time for yourself and try to understand these aspects within ourselves rather than looking out, you'll be able to find solutions to these. But it requires some time. We spend a lot of time on external things, on external events. But the time that you devote to yourself, to look within yourself and try to understand. So these are all platforms which enables you to look into your own self, or which tells you that, okay, once in a while we'll have to make us learn about you also, which makes you maybe aware that, okay, there is an entity called you, where you can look yourself into, or that is where you can look into yourself and find solutions. So stress is within us. Okay, conflicts again within us. So we develop the conflicts. And at the same time, so how do we manage it? So it is through regulating the self. Okay, self-awareness was the term that I used, and then self regulation. So the next factor, which or the element which Daniel Goleman has mentioned, is motivation. So how to bring about this motivation? It's the ability. Again, it's motivation. So it is not. So when you open your WhatsApp, okay, you will understand that okay, there are so many motivational pictures or videos or messages or contents which has been delivered into your WhatsApp. But what happens is, so are you intrinsically motivated? Or motivation, that motivation which comes from within. So the ability to self motivate with a focus on achieving internal or self gratification as that is as opposed to external praise or reward. Okay, you may get a praise, you may get marks, you may get a trophy, you may get appreciations, fine, but what is the intrinsic those are all external motivations. You may get a perk, you may get an incentive, you may get an appreciation, people will applaud at you, but what is the personal gratification or the motivation that you have? That is that which comes from your ability to self-motivate yourself. So whatever be the outer circumstances, outer external environment, are you in a position to understand yourself and self-motivate yourself? Okay, that is, am I really happy about myself? Happy at the things that I am doing? Happy at being here, being present here? So that is what makes me happy. Okay, I am present in this lecture, or I am presenting in this lecture, and you on the other side are attending or attendees. So what is the motivation that you have for attending? Is it just for an attendance, or is it just to make your presence felt, or learn something new, or try to understand something about yourself? So that depends on the intrinsic motivation that you have. So if something is done out of your own self motivation, the result would be very good or rewarding also. So individuals who are able to motivate themselves in this way have a tendency to be more committed and goal focused. So rather than asking, okay, what is in for me? Try to understand, okay, if I am present, these are the things which I am going to learn, or these are the things which I am going to understand. So it is out of self-motivation that you do many things. So when you do things like that, you'll have a tendency to be more committed. And sometimes parents pressurize their children to opt for a particular course. But if you do something out of your own interest, you say that, okay, I am interested in this one. I've been longing to study this course or do this course. So later I'll find happiness in this, by doing this or by working in this. So if it is done, that is out of self-motivation. So it is not with somebody's interest that you're doing something. It is out of your own interest that you are into something. As a result, you enjoy doing it, you'll be more committed, and as a result, you'll be more focused in achieving the goal. Please understand that. Then another factor which Daniel Goleman has mentioned about another element is the empathy. So the ability to recognize and understand how others are feeling and consider those feelings before responding in social situations. Okay, you are in a class. So if I ask one of you, okay, when you're attending your class, I ask one of you, or I may criticize. Okay, I may criticize at your way of speaking or your way of answering, whatever be it. So before criticizing you, okay, I on my part should think, okay, how would the student feel if I am criticizing him or her in an open space, in an open platform? So rather than, okay, I will think twice, is it really necessary? So if I'm able to find other ways of putting it in another way, so that everybody else also, others also understand, okay, this was the problem, and they are in a position to change, I can go forward with that. Otherwise, what you can do is, okay, I should restrain myself from giving that remark or criticism, and it should be given personally. So depending on the situation, one has to, that is, one has to consider the other person's position. So you better place yourself in other person's position and try to respond or try to think, okay, is it really required? So your ability empathizing means it allows you to understand the other that is other person's position, and thus you'll be able to influence a relationship also, and which is very important in the workplace as well as personal personal domain. That is about motivation. And the fifth element, of course, is the social skills. So the ability, your ability to manage your emotions, your ability to manage the emotions in the um, society, especially when you're, that is how you build rapport or connect with individuals through the skills. So for example, active listening, for example, so here itself in the in this platform, you require that, because we don't get to know your responses. The only way that we get to know about your responses is through the chats, right? There is no other way of response. So I do not know how you would be responding through your body language, whether you follow everything. So it is through actual listening, then verbal as well as non-verbal communication. So we are able to respond to a great extent by understanding the how the emotion, how this element of emotional intelligence is important in managing the emotions of others, especially in social contexts. So the ability to manage the emotions of others through emotional understanding, and using this to build rapport, and using this to build the rapport and connect with people through the skills, especially like active listening or understanding through the body language and nonverbal communication. Fine. Okay, we've dealt framework of uh, empathy. Fine. So emotional intelligence again plays a crucial, as an important role in change management. One minute. Change management. So the ability to
Ma'am, the screen has stopped.
okay, no.
No, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
No, ma'am, it's not visible. Only your camera is visible, but the PPT is not visible.
Is it? Yes. Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am, visible now.
Okay, so self-management, so the role of emotional intelligence in self-management and self-regulations. So it is commonly accepted that our emotions are driven by impulses, right? Most often we react because of our impulses. So what is primarily required is for self-management and self-regulation. So um, that is the capacity to manage our own self and manage the emotions as well as the impulses. uh, EQ, or the emotional quotient, helps us to a large extent, or it is crucial, or it is important. So this form of self-regulation is built upon self-awareness and is an integral part of becoming emotionally intelligent. So what I would like to say is, so self-awareness is an integral part of becoming emotionally intelligent, and this capacity or this ability to exercise the self-awareness and self-regulation helps us to liberate ourselves from impulse-driven reactions. So most of the time, so always remember, when you are trying to respond, or when you come across a situation, is it, do you expect yourself to react, or do you expect yourself to respond? That is what is important here. So self-management and self-awareness, or self-management helps to build, allows, or it helps an individual uh, to use knowledge about their emotions to better manage them in order to self-motivate and create positive interactions or positive social interactions. So leaders, for example, it is see, they come across a lot of problems, or in such situations. So imagine if they are in a position to, if not recognize their emotions and react or react in an impulsive manner. So what would happen to their image, or the leadership image that they have built over a period of time? So leaders have an aptitude that is for self-regulation than others, and they, even though they are, that is, as human beings, they may be aggressive. At the same time, they may even turn out to be confrontational at times, but they may also have to pull down their decisions. All these happens to them also, as they are individuals or human beings. But what they do is, through this process of self-regulation or self-management, they uh, that is they try to regulate these feelings, or they try to bring down these emotions and respond in a positive manner. So that doesn't mean that these people or leaders or so-called professionals are devoid of this kind of anger or not. No, they do have, but how they manage or how they regulate these feelings and emotions makes them the person they are. So self-regulation, and the critical role that is being played by self-regulation and self-management is important here, or you need to make note of that. So in instances where you come across negative emotions like anger, then maybe you feel that is, it's an outburst of emotion sometimes. Maybe you try to be very aggressive and thrust your feelings, or thrust your thoughts upon others. So in those situations, it is better, emotional intelligence can help us to identify what we are feeling and determine the cause of emotion through reflection or self-analysis, by allowing us to respond in a rational manner. So this is what happens when in real situations. So it is not so especially in service industry. So you cannot be very aggressive. You cannot be very aggressive even. So or you can persuade people to a certain extent only. So in those situations, whatever be the situations, it is better to understand what the situation is, and it helps you to it helps you to manage those emotions and respond in a good way or positive way. So earlier we spoke about resilience also, about this that is resilience and emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence has the potential to enhance not only the leadership abilities and your ability, that is enhance the interpersonal skills, but also personal resilience, that is it also enhances the ability to cope with stressful conditions. And emotional intelligence is again, it is directly correlated with individual advancement and performance. So in workplace, this matters a lot. Or when you take yourself as a class, so there are people who, that is maybe their work is being appreciated, or whatever they do is being appreciated, and that results in their performance also, whereas and they will advance very fast. So the factor which is essential for their growth or success, whatever you call it, is this emotional intelligence. So it is strongly correlated with individual advancement as well as performance. And another crucial thing that that you would like to ask is, okay, the difference between, or not the difference between, what exactly does emotional intelligence matter more than IQ or the intelligence quotient? Emotional intelligence or your emotional quotient. So why we call it emotional intelligence? Because it is due to the ability to manage and regulate the emotions. So does it matter more than IQ? Yes, definitely. Studies have proved that EQ is essential for survival, and that is more important than IQ. But IQ, of course, is the determining factor initially. So so psychologists also have discussed this problem, or discussed this topic a lot, and a lot of studies have been done. And so IQ without, that is, if it is only IQ, means it doesn't determine your success at all, or that is not the one element which determines your success. So how successful are we in life is determined by both an amount of a degree of emotional intelligence as well as a degree of IQ. So it is both this IQ and EQ which determines our success in life. So that is your intellect is important. At the same time, your emotions are also important. That is, your cognitive abilities are important, your intelligence is important, and at the same time, the emotions are also important, which triggers these kind of feelings in you. So it is IQ, it is not simply IQ alone, but both IQ and EQ contributes to the success. So it has been said that only 20% of the intelligence or the intelligence quotient leads to the success. So the rest 80% is the ability to, or the individual's ability to engage with the emotions. So I'd like to use a quote here. See, Maya Angelou, the American activist, civil rights activist, she has mentioned, "I have learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." So it is, so that is the role, or I would say that, okay, that you can sum up this, the role played by emotional intelligence. So in today's life, people are very, that is, where you are very busy, you don't have time for anything, but in spite of all that, see, in relationships, how you will remember a person, you will remember, or you will you will learn from a person who has to enable you to feel how feel good about you. I repeat that quote. I have learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So there is another thing is that there is a close link between, so how you make people feel, that is the importance. And it is on these aspects that all the service industry also works with. But to a certain extent these days they have exaggerated all these things. There is a limit for this, but sometimes we feel that okay, they are exaggerating things, that sometimes we feel that is it is too much for us, and it is an over projection. So anyway, I don't want to delve into that now. So what I was thinking is that, what I was saying is there a relationship between the emotional intelligence and the job performance? So before that, so before that is I was the change aspect also. So organizations expect individuals to constantly learn. So it determines your performance also. So the way you approach the problems and deliver the solutions, that is important in the workplace. So challenges, or that is challenges are there, of course. So daily we come across many problems. So rather than running away from it, so how you try to accept those changes and deal with it. That is what matters, or that is what is important. So dealing with challenges. Then again, emotional intelligence and job performance. That is the link between emotional intelligence and, that is, it gets reflected in various areas. So it is so job performance or job success, whatever you may call it. So higher level or a higher degree of emotional intelligence allows a person to understand, that is, themselves and at the same time others better, so that the communication process it becomes very effective, and they are in a position to adjust or cope with challenging situations. So in the workplace also, or in interpersonal relations. So when you relate to yourself or student life, or in your interpersonal relationships, a higher degree of emotional intelligence definitely helps you to understand yourself and others better, so that you are able to communicate with others. It's communicate with others better, and effective, and you're also able to communicate with them effectively, so that you are in a position to cope up with challenging behaviors or challenging situations. Even then, a degree of, that is, it helps you to utilize and develop emotional, that is, significantly, in the sense that you can enhance your personal and personal capabilities as well as social capabilities with individuals in your workplace. So how, that is, a certain amount of emotional intelligence, or a degree of emotional intelligence, will help you to manage the emotions in order to improve the job performance also. And this helps people to stay calm and think logically in order to establish good relationships and achieve the goals. So it is in workplace, this is why it matters, because it is so a single person's or an employee's relationship matters a lot in the workplace. So it can build in, or it can bring in more to the organization, and it can also disrupt the organization in many ways. So here, so it is a factor which determines, or it tells about your job performance, and it in turn helps people to stay back or stay calm and think logically. that is and respond positively. So this helps you to bring in, or helps you to establish good relationship with your customers or clients, and at the same time internally it help you achieve your own the goals of the organization. Then again, it helps you to manage the stress, maintain relationships, and it also helps you to build relationships. So the link between emotional skills and job performance is very clear here. So that is again, so maybe it may be you are encountering an angry customer, you are encountering an angry person, so you are even replying to a complaint letter. So there it is your written communication that matters. So when you write, that is when you answer to a complaint letter, a customer has made a complaint, lodged a complaint. So that means when it is through an email or a written format, it is a record. So how would you respond to that complaint of a customer, so that you don't want to lose that customer, you don't want to that is lose the relationship or lose the business that you're having with that person. So how to retain the customer and build the relationship so that you engage the customer throughout. So it is not out of the, it's a sudden reactive impulses, or that is if you are reacting suddenly out of impulses, what happens is the relationship gets end, or it may stop there. So it is your responsibility, so that you have, but it takes a long to build that relationship through regular communication. So it is very difficult. Always it would be better. It is better to remember that a high degree of emotional intelligence helps you to retain the customers, or to provide the right kind of service to the customers and retain them, and at the same time it helps in the sustenance of relationships as well. So it's finally in the workplace, it is an indicator of your job performance also. So then again, it helps you to work individually at the same time, that is group level. So it is an indicator of your performance or your ability to work with the individual, that is your for yourself, and at the same time at the group level. So in fact, an individual moves up the organization ladder or organization hierarchy. The positive influence or the effect of emotional intelligence in coping with these situations and doing tasks in an effective manner matters a lot. So emotional, what steps can we take? So how to build up this emotional intelligence, or how can we, that is, I was talking to you about the difference between reaction and response, and the 5 elements which are very crucial. So understanding those 5 elements and taking these steps would definitely help you to build up a degree of intelligence. So this happens that is with practice only. So one aspect is unfreezing yourself. So letting your old behaviors or forget the past and bringing in with new, or trying to understand the present more, and that is unfreezing. That is the term that has been used. Unfreezing, letting go of old behaviors or past behaviors which are of no use, and trying to change or adapt. Trying to understand what is required for the moment or for the present, and trying to change. And refreezing, that is reinforcing or stabilizing the change. So trying to eliminate what is not required, that which is not present, that is eliminate what is not required in the past, then understanding what is required in the present, and as a result you change forward or you change for good, and finally refreezing or reinforcing and stabilizing the change, or reinforcing the change. So that is what brings about the change, and that gets reflected in whatever you do or in the responses. Remember, it is not reactions. So emotional intelligence also deals with, or it helps you to manage the stress also. So earlier also in the beginning also I told the repercussions that it has. Okay, your stress level increases. You have certain diseases, then injuries. You have injuries. You have certain ailments. So how to overcome that? So an individual with high degree of emotional intelligence has sufficient self awareness or to recognize the negative feelings. So try to reduce the negative feelings and respond accordingly. So we know that, okay, this thought or this is not going to work, or this is something bad, or this is not right for the moment, or you know that this is incorrect. So if you know that something is incorrect or something is not right, why not change that? So it is better not to cling on to that. So, and it is better to respond in a, so that is, if we try to cling on to that, if you know that, okay, it is not right, and try to cling on to that, the matter only escalates. So what can be done is try to reduce it and and prevent the escalation. So uncontrolled and these, so if we are in a position to regulate ourselves or manage our emotions, we'll be able to understand these uncontrolled and misunderstood emotions, and you try to reduce it. So emotional intelligence will help us effectively understand or deal with these negative emotions, or like anxiety or depression, and try to reduce it. And whenever, see, initially, if you are in a position to recognize these things, it will not, these, that is, they may not escalate and move on to the next level. Sometimes it moves, that is failure, anxiety, all those things. When not recognized initially, what happens, it gets escalated to the next level, like depression and many, that is heartburn, all those things, physical illnesses like that. So try to understand those kind of negative aspects or negative emotions initially, and through through self management or self regulations, we'll be able to we will be able to overcome that. So stress to a great extent has to be overcome through positive, that is positive reinforcements or positive understanding, like these things, that is understanding of the emotions, which effectively helps us to cope up with stress. Then emotional, it also says that emotionally intelligent people have also, that is they can evaluate the situations and respond in a good manner. So the ability, finally, it is the ability to manage the emotions, and emotional information increases. So once we are in a position to recognize those emotions, as a result, what happens? Okay, you unfreeze that. So you know that, okay, that is not required, or this is not going to help me in any way. So you unfreeze those negative emotions and overcome that, and try to change yourself. Okay, what can be done? So you change it for the present, and this, that is changing, that means you are enabling yourself to cope with a new situation. As a result, what you do is refreeze. So the new situation helps you, or the new emotions helps you to manage the situation. This is what happens. And emotional intelligence also plays a critical role in decision making. The decisions that you make, if it is too much out of reactions, means it will not bring out any end results, or the results will not be fruitful. So if you're looking for a better judgment, better agreement, better decision making, and trying to bring out the level of conflict, what happens is, it is necessary that you have to that is understand the role of emotional intelligence in decision making also. The decisions that maybe in your case, the decision to opt for a particular course, the decision to choose a particular course, the decision to join a company, the decision to work for a company, the decision to do a project, the decision to do an internship, the decision to study value-added courses. All this is important. So this because the level of emotional intelligence that you have helps you to manage the come up with good or better decisions. Good or better decisions, I would say. So you manage your behavior and you navigate social complexities also as a result of good decision making. So an understanding and a clear or an authentic understanding of emotions, that is of how you feel and why you're feeling, would help you, or it has got a huge impact in your decision making abilities also. So if you are not in a position to look at your emotions, you can, that is objectively, it would be better to avoid, that is you will avoid making misguided decisions also. So try to look at the decisions, or try to look at your decisions in an objective manner, not in a subject from your personal point of view, but from if it isn't from an objective level, you will be that is, you'll be avoiding mistakes, or that is misguided decision making in the long run. So as a good level or a high degree of emotional intelligence is important element in the prevention of making bad decisions, or it causes a lot of emotional barriers also. So if you're not good at managing the emotions, it causes the manner, that is, it causes or it acts as a barrier to make good decisions as a result. So negative emotions can also impede problem solving ability or decision making capacity, or even conflict resolution ability. So and finally, I'd like to conclude by saying that, okay, emotional intelligence and success has a lot of relationships, or it is related more. So happiness depends on your ability to manage the emotions, or regulate the emotions, or cope with emotions, so that your change process, or the ability to adapt, become easy. As a result, the productivity or your performance increases, and the outcome is happiness. So the outcome, so I do not know how you judge your success or what makes you happy. So if you ask me, okay, what makes you happy, how, and what all the factors that happiness depends upon, happiness or success depends upon your ability to, or those who are able to survive, or those who are happy these days are people who are, because these are the things which you cannot go outside and then buy. You can buy all the things in your life, but you will not get happiness at all. But happiness lies within us, in how we try to manage those aspects which lay maybe dormant in us, or maybe in which is very visible in us. It is up to you to decide whether is it really dormant. If you think that it is dormant in you, you have to bring it out. Understand that it lies within you. Understand the potential it has. That is in understanding more about you, understanding the potential it has in enabling you to perform, the potential to bring forth the potential that you have by understanding or managing yourself, or having an awareness about yourself, having an awareness about your own self, that is self-awareness, or through self-regulation. So ultimately, it is finding the happiness through the process of self-management or self-regulation. So emotional intelligence has a lot of implications, or finally, it is this factor coupled with intelligence. So intelligence and emotions determine your success. or you become happy if you try to. That is, it depends upon your happiness quotient, depends upon your emotional quotient, I would say. So with that, I conclude.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. It was a
So thank
wonderful
you.
session.
Thank you for the listeners also, because as I told you, no, Janvi, because we cannot reduce this. It is very difficult to manage for me to reduce this vast area into to 1 hour. So
Yes,
that
ma'am.
that is the struggle, emotional struggle that I had,
Yes,
to be
true.
very frank. So all the best to all the attendees. So questions will be dealt with in the next session or now?
Yes, ma'am. Next session we'll be dealing.
Okay, okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
thank you so much for listening, and all the best once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, now we have our next trainer, that is Rakhi ma'am, who will be taking the next session. Just a moment, please hold on. Yeah, Rakhi ma'am, are you there? Rakhi ma'am? Students, please wait. Let me connect with Rakhi ma'am. Just a moment. Students, please wait. Yes, welcome, Rakhi ma'am.
For many tasks, we take that initiative, whether you don't know. Simple example, if your tap is not working, your water pipe is not working, will you take initiative to actually call upon a plumber and get it done? So don't you think that there is a leader in you? There we all have a leadership qualities. However, whether are we really sharpening it is the question. So let's move on and know more about it. So I hope that you're all ready. So today what we are going to discuss is about the qualities of a true leader. Okay. And a leader being assertive as a behavioral trait. If I have to speak about assertive, I also need to uh, narrate about what are the other types of communication style that we have. Okay, why assertive? And last but not the least is something as a leader, everyone expects us to be a problem solver and a decision making skill. Okay, that's something which can make a difference right now. As we all know, during this uncertain period, that is the COVID-19, we all are going to look forward for a lot of problem solutions and decisions makings. Isn't it so? But now the question remains, Indians has been really claimed to be intellectual or intellectually intelligent. However, how many leaders that India has produced as compared to the global? Now, let me just quickly ask you a quick question. Do you remember any superhero? Maybe in the real world or in the world of illusion? Now think about that superhero. What is that one quality that quickly comes into your mind that makes them different? If you ask me that particular question, I can close my eyes and tell you it's none other than, I have a lot of superheroes, by the way, okay? Initially, my superhero was Kamal Hassan, okay, always. Mainly because he danced very well, because, I'm a great fan of dancer. And yeah, that is what, superhero comes in. However, another superhero when I was a child was none other than Mandrake and Superman. Okay, so I'm sure that we all have some superheroes that we were all born with or probably brought up with, right? So think about that one quality that person has extra compared to what we have or other person have. As I mentioned, as a super leader, the name that comes into my mind is none other than our Dr. Abdul Kalam. Now, I'm going to show you a small video wherein Dr. Abdul Kalam was asked the same question: who is your superhero? Who is you think consider as a great leader? And let's see, watch this video, what he has to talk about. All right, friends. So let's watch it. I'm just going to stop sharing this and allow me to share my video and also tell me if the video is audible as well. Okay. So let me just confirm before that. All right, give me a minute. Yes, I have the video for you. Just a minute. I think I'm ready to share the screen for all of you. Please tell me, Janvi, you need to help me to know whether it's audible also. All right.
Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, I'm sure that you're going to love it. Okay, so he's talking about one gentleman. Let's hear from him.
1979.
Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am, audible.
Love.
1979. SLV-3 satellite launch vehicle. I was the project director, mission director. My mission is to put the satellite in the orbit. Thousands of people worked nearly 10 years. I reached the Sriharikota and it's in the launch pad. Countdown was going on. T-minus 4 minutes, T-minus 5 minutes, T-minus 1 minute, T-minus 40 seconds. Computer put a hold, don't launch it. Computer says don't launch it. I am the mission director, I have to take decision. Everything is on. Behind me there are 6 experts. They saw computer database coming in at screen and they see the pictures in the screen. They said there's a problem. The problem is there's a leakage in the system, in the control system. But immediately they calculate no problem. We have got sufficient fuel and oxidize for control system is controls the rocket to the required altitude. And we can go ahead. Now, of course, my expert's view, but I took the decision. Problem is mine. Finally, I took a decision. I bypassed the computer, I launched the system. First stage worked in a 4-stage rocket, and second stage got mad. It went to the spin. Instead of putting the satellite in the orbit, it put in the Bay of Bengal. 1979, it was a failure. It was a failure. First time I experienced my failure. How do you manage the failure? Success I can manage. So at that time, a great man, a great leader, Professor Satish Dhawan, he comes to me, I'm very tired working nearly for months. He wakes me up, come, let us go for a press conference. Press is meeting there, like this, number of people, world press, with photo, this and that, all the gadgets, they are there. I was really frightened, I will be the culprit, because I'm the project director, mission director. What Satish Dhawan said, Chairman, Indian Space Research Organization, said, dear friends, we have failed today. It's the first time I have to give all the success, all the failure is, I want to support my technologists and scientists and staff so that next year they succeed. So he took the whole blame himself. And then media asked, you put Bay of Bengal so many crores, you are putting like that, lot of criticism. He received the criticism. He assured them in a year we will succeed with our team. It's a very good team. Next year, here only interesting happened. Next year, July 18th, 1980, when he succeeded, Professor Dhawan said, you go and conduct the press conference. Do you follow what it means? It means when the failure occurred, the leader took it up. When the success came, he gives to his team. That's the first.
So I hope that you all really like this. Yeah. And that is what a leader, I believe, such humble. And I've heard that a leader is also a follower. He can lead the team, but at the same time, he also follow other leaders as well. Is my screen now off? Just wanted to ensure that. Yeah.
Ma'am, your camera is on, but
Yeah.
PPT is not.
Yeah, that I will share right now. No problem. Okay?
Yes.
I was just wondering. Yeah. So just wanted to know whether the video is off. Okay, I think now it's fine, right? Yeah, it's coming, right? My PPT is
Yes.
there? Yeah, all
Yes,
right.
ma'am. Yes.
So I want you to ask yourself a question. What is that one quality that you would like to imbibe and follow as a leader? And anyone who thinks that, I don't have that leadership quality, I may want to ask you a question. At this period of time or pandemic, what is that one advice that you wanted to give the people of your generation that they need to follow and they need to incorporate? And what would be my strong suggestion is that, yes, I'm sure that you all have something in your mind, one best advice that you want to give all your friends that they need to incorporate. So why not be a change maker? Why not we be that change and help others to follow you? Yes, certainly there is a leader in all of us, my dear friends. So this is all about the definition of leadership. Just for your understanding, I'm displaying all these because I believe in making action, okay, rather than talking about it. So I just wanted to ask you another easy concept that I can tell you how we all can be a leader. May I? I'm sure that you all will agree when I say that exercise or going to gym or doing yoga is good for all of us, right? We know that very well. I'm sure that I will have all the hands up now. That is something that we all know. We all have a lot of information. But if I ask you, how many of you are really doing it? How many of you do yoga? How many of you do exercise on a daily basis? How many of you really go to gym on a daily basis? I'm sure half of the hands will be down. Now, if I ask you the third question, how many of you can teach others or lead a team to join or help them to learn more about yoga, gym, or exercise? So that's called being. So you just have to follow these three formula if you want to be a leader. No, definitely knowledge is important. Doing, you need to raise your skills, how to do that, and also influencing others. That's also equally important to be a leader. Okay, such a simple formula, right? However, easier said and done. That's why we are here to help you with more concept. So if you can read, as you can read here, it's basically, it's the ability that we all have to inspire as an individual and also an organizational level in this environment of uncertainty. If you are able to do that, grow yourself and also inspire the organization as well to come out of this uncertainty. And yes, I love this word, walking along with the people and prodding them to do better. It's not only people who have that particular quality, not only lead a team, but also motivate others, show them the way to do that, okay, and make them better. Like a teacher, you probably would have experienced few of your teacher who have actually seen the best in you and have motivated you. I'm here because few people have found these things that I have not seen in myself, all right, and help me to work on it and motivated me as well. And of course, it entails the humility to carry people along with you. My dear friends, it requires a lot of patience. As we know, there are thought leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, like Nelson Mandela. What they are known for is being a humanity, right? And of course, listening to the others' ideas, what views that they bring in, and creatively channel their energy around meaningful objective. So it's like a collaboration of different brains together, listening to them. And there was also a controversy which I came to know through one of my friend, that the leaders, or probably the managers, let me put it that way, the managers are not good leaders. Probably you all would have experienced, sometimes your teachers or your friends, they will not even listen to you properly, jump into conclusions and conflicts happens. So most of the time, sometimes even at home it happens, we feel that somebody could have actually listened to me. So as a matter of fact, in IIM, they have a course of listening that every manager has to take, especially Tata as a company. They insist that all their managers take that particular course. So that is the importance of listening to others and then converge together with the ideas and then solve any problem. So the qualities of a leader, I'm sure that by this time you would have already gathered the qualities that you have seen in other people, and that the qualities that you have as a leader also. So whatever that we have mentioned here are few. However, there are a lot of other qualities also. Now, let me just share a small story with you, or with all of you. You might have heard about the Samurai Jack, right? That was a cartoon which was there when I was in my schooling. I think I was doing my school. Few of you might have heard about Samurai Jack, right? Now, visualize a kind of a Samurai Jack princess, okay? So this happened in Japan. So it's happened long time ago. So when the king sent his son to the Gurukul, that time and all, they had the Gurukul system. So they had sent. So in Gurukul, what happens? There is no disparity between the king's son or anybody else. Everybody has been equally treated. So everybody has to learn everything. Now, it was a tough time for all of them because they have to do all the kitchen chores and all other household chores also, not only learning something, right? So you probably would have watched many stories and all that with regards to that. Of course, our princess was finding it very difficult. Now, almost the education got over. When everybody was about to depart, princess not princess, the prince, sorry, my bad, okay, the prince was very happy that he can go home. Now, when he was about to depart, that is the time the guru called and told him, it is still time for you to move on, because you need to know more skills compared to other people. He was sad, but he has to be disciplined and, of course, honor the command of the guru, right? And the guru told him, you need to go to the forest and see something which you have never seen before, and hear something which you have never heard before, and feel something which you have never felt before. Oh my God, now this boy is in danger. He didn't know what to do. He was in a total dilemma. He's alone. How can he do that? He went to the forest. He wandered for a long time. And yes, of course, he went deep into the forest to see something that he had never seen before, heard something he had never seen before, felt something that he had never felt before. He came back. Within few days, he came back and he told Guru, yes, Guru, I have seen all these things. Okay, I have experienced all these things. So when he was asked, he said, yeah, I could listen to certain birds which I have never seen before. Okay, some humming which I've never heard before, and also felt the smell of the forest which I have not, the deep forest which I have never smelt before. However, the Guru was not happy. Guru said, you go back. Okay, because what all things that you have told, I have experienced it. You go back and come back with all these things which nobody has ever seen, felt, or heard. You can imagine what the prince is going through, right? But he went there, he didn't have a choice, and he was wandering in the forest for many long days looking for all these. He couldn't. He was so tired, and he slept over the whole night under a banyan tree. And the next day morning, he woke up, okay, around 4:30, 5 o'clock, when the sunlight really fall on the earth. And within few minutes, he got enlightened. He was totally got, as if, he has got the insights of what exactly the Guru has explained or narrated to him. And he went, he reached, he saw, the Guru could see that enlightenment, that happiness, that pleasure in his face. The Guru asked, okay, so you're back. So what is that you have seen? Tell me. And my dear friends, listen to this carefully. He said, I could hear the noise of sunlight falling on the earth. My dear friends, you all know very well that the sunlight falls on the earth, right? But we have never heard. That is something really that unheard, correct? Now, he said, I saw a flower blossoming. We all know that a flower bud blossoms, but hardly that we have seen or experienced our naked eyes. Isn't it so, friends? We have seen it in graphics, but not in with our real eyes. So he said, I saw that. And also he added that I could really feel the grass drinking the dewdrops. And we all know that, correct? He said, I could really feel that they are drinking. So when he said that, Guru was very happy. Okay. So this is what the message that I wanted to give you, the qualities. If you can follow, again, remember the story. I'm sure that that is what I experience in my life. I always try to see something that nobody have ever seen, nobody have ever heard, or nobody have ever felt. That's what we call as a leader has a visionary mind, a visionary eyes, and a visionary ears as well. Okay, and let's quickly go through all these qualities. That's something I think I've already explained about this particular point, being a good, great listener. And of course, if you are a good listener, it helps others, give them more confidence, and you certainly break that barrier between a supervisor and a subordinate as well. You break that ice, and always, that employee starts trusting you, which makes them self-motivated and reduce the burden of supervision and low productivity. It is basically, I would say, when you have got a listening skills, you can create an ecosystem that is definitely tangible for them also. They feel comfortable. Okay. Now, of course, openness to lifelong learning. Yes, that is one quality. You might have heard about this quote called, a reader becomes a leader. A person who always has got that quench to learn new things, or has an open mind to learn new things, certainly has got that quality. I know one of my friend, okay, he is actually a psychologist. He is a doctorate in that. The best quality that I have seen is that, he speaks in international forums and all that. But whenever we have good friends also. So whenever I'm with him, no, I mean, I was very much amazed the way that he listens to me. As a small child, he leaves everything and he's all ears and eyes for me. And sometimes, and it helps me to actually speak to him openly, forgetting that, he's such a great person. See, that is the kind of that behavior that he displays. So as a leader, I have seen there are good listeners and they're always ready to learn new things. They don't debate too much. So I would want you to actually imbibe that character also. Whether no matter whatever, whether it is technology or any other related to whatever it is, they're ready to always open to learn and definitely seek to inspire that confidence among those that they lead as well, that gives them others also a footstep to lead. And yes, of course, ability to take risk. And I think nothing like this pandemic time where people have taken a risk. And I'll give you a small example. One of my close friends, because I'm into this women empowerment, programs and all that stuff. So there is one lady who's my friend. Okay, I don't mind mentioning her name. Her name is Preeti. So she actually left a corporate job for 18 years that she was doing. She was working all over India at a managerial position. Then after some time, she thought of actually pursuing her own dreams. So that was one of them was she, basically was very impressed about this image consultancies. So she thought of having her own salons, and that too very different salons. Okay, not normal salons, very unique, where she has got extension of hair and plastic surgery, so on and so forth. So initially, definitely when she came back, leaving that corporate job, very flowery job abroad, and coming back all the way to Kerala, that too was not being embraced by her friends and her family also. But she did take that risk. Okay, and long story cut short, just before, prior to COVID, she had 4 saloons and it was running at really, they were at high helm. However, during the pandemic, there was none of the parlors were open. We all know that, we all have witnessed it. So what she did is that she had around 40 workers, okay, and those all ladies also. And she knew very well that if she leave them, they are all going to be jobless, and the poverty is something that is going to arise, and it's going to be very bad. So she wanted to retain all these people. So she had a discussion and she reinvented her vision. Okay, because she's also good in the culinary arts. What I would say is that she's good in cooking. Her mother is also an expert, North Indian dishes, So what they did is that they trained these people within 15 days and they started making something very unique food, culture that is not available here, like Fulka Basket. They opened a brand called Fulka Basket, so which provides this aloo parathas. Something is not easily available in this market, and very different tikkas, vegetarian tikkas, non-vegetarian tikkas, and all very homemade. Okay, samosas, something. So very yummy, I would say that, amazing, no doubt about it. Okay, and at a very reasonable cost. She was not taking enough margin for that because she want to engage her people. And now, long story cut short, now if you ask me, she has got another brand also called Panache Collections, like this accessories and saris, designs and all that stuff. Now you tell me, after the COVID, if she has not taken this risk, now for her credit, she has got 3 brands, right? One, her saloon is again started opening now. She has got her Panache Collection. She has got her food, this thing also, like Fulka Basket. Now imagine the risk that she has taken, and I can give you n number of examples. So this is what the leaders do. Okay, failures is part of it actually. And if I ask you, the difference between you and me sitting here is only one thing, my dear friends. It's not about I'm experienced, okay, than you. It's about I've got a lot of failures than you. I'll tell you simply that, because I've taken that risk, and I knew that failure is a byproduct. That's fine, but I'm going to win. Okay, so this is something. And the next one is something which I love, the self-awareness, and especially at this age, okay, or adolescence, I would say, or getting into that 25s or 20s or whatever. That is the age where you need to actually think a lot about you, invest lot on your own self-development rather than listening to other people. Ask yourself, what is your strength? What is your weakness? And what others think about me? What I need to do to understand other people. More than anything, increase your self-esteem, my dear friends. Don't go behind your physical appearance. I am dark, I am fair, I am tall, I am short. Please get rid of all that. We are all unique. Okay. And believe me, this awareness came to me little late. At least right now I'm telling you, but this awareness came to me little late, and seriously, I have lost a lot of years because I didn't have self-esteem. Okay. I was not liking myself. Simply put it, I didn't like myself. And I'm sure this question is pondering into your mind right now when I ask that. Do you love yourself? Who is the person that you like the most in this life, in your life? You probably will think 2-3 times, but I want you to really work on that. Look into the mirror and say that I am the best person that you can see. So easier said than done. Again, my dear friends, but still accept yourself the way you are. And also your friends. Don't judge them all the time. Nobody in this world is perfect for that matter. And don't try to pretend for others' benefit. That is one single advice I wanted to give to you. Open your mouth sometimes. Tell the truth. You will feel good at the end of the day. Okay, so that is what the leaders do. I hope that you're able to follow me also. Now, nothing like collaboration. Okay, spirit of collaboration. Absolutely right. Because I'm into Rotary Club. Okay, so we as a Rotary Club, we have visions as our president will lay it on us. But we as a club, everybody as a team normally brainstorm it and then execute it as well. Okay, so that is something, the spirit of collaboration. And now even the world globally, we have to accept that we need to even collaborate with our competitors, right, friends? Okay, you can see a lot of like banks amalgamating together because that is your department, correct? Okay, so you can see so many organizations coming together and they become one so that they can create. And even for that matter, me as a trainer, we collaborate with our competitors to come up with a beautiful product which is useful for the community. Okay, so that's all, we all do that. So that is something that we need to really look into, collaborating with others, so that the partner with various groups in the society to help organization understand how. And as I told you in the Women Network for us, we all collaborate together to bring up business. So that's an amazing platform that I have seen. Actually, I'm witnessing it. Okay. Now, beyond looking profit, not make it in the sole driving factor only. Okay, of course, initially when you start a business or something, the drive is making money. However, after a certain point of time, we should also look into, doing something for the society as well. So we are anyway going to talk about it in detail in the coming slides as well. So I believe that it's clear to all of you about a spirit of collaboration. Okay, so whenever any problem that you face, you need to have a discussion with the internal and the external stakeholders. Okay, and even now, if you really look into, why Amazon, has created its brand, mainly because they focus on the customer. Okay, and I remember one of the Jeff Bezos video. He said, "I have got an orgasm for the customers." Maybe it's a bad word to use here, but this is exactly that he has claimed in a public platform, because he says that for me, customer is in the center, and I will do anything to make the customer happy. And how he does it, friends? When we are buying something, the first thing what we do when we are investing a little money, extra money, so we go and look into the extra testimonials, right, friends? So why? Because the testimonials is actually a credential for Amazon or any organization for that matter. Don't you think that they're collaborating with the stakeholders, external stakeholders, to create that credibility? Yes, of course. So that's something that right now we cannot get rid of. Okay. And now I for sustainability. Yes. Another quality a leader should have, that anything that we do should help the society or the people around. It should be a sustainable business. So if I have to say a sustainable is something which can actually be consistent, okay, I'm coming up with any ideas I'm coming up. It should be helpful not only you personally and the people around you, but also to the society. And it should be a long-term vision as well. And not only that, it should not be something harmful to the society. That's called the sustainability. And how best the organization can use those available resources effectively also. So basically, I have heard this from different organizations that they probably would have paid a lot of amount to buy a machinery or something, but nobody is using it. So you only tell me, was it something being bought with the vision of sustainability, right? So it needs to be used as well, even the software for that matter. And it should not be any e-waste, or it should not be a waste, or not only to the organization, but to the environment as well. So I hope that's also clear to all of you. And now moving on, the vision. Yeah. So what is the vision? So this is something that you might have heard about it. Every organization has got a vision. But if I have to put it simply, okay, you want to start a small tea shop. Okay, what is your vision? You need to ask yourself, is it to only sell the tea? Ask yourself. Or you want to provide a very unique tea that was not available for the customers, and the customers really like it. Your vision is to make your customer happy and address their problem and have a solution based on that. All right. So this should be always for the people. That is your vision. Should a visionary leader always look for the future, okay, to make the company more sustainable, and look into the abilities of the people that they have, and also help the organization to move forward and reward people and any new initiative that anybody brings in. What do you think about why any Fortune 500 companies, if you really look into, or I would say that, I always say that, okay, whenever any company ask me to take a training or something, I go into their website and see whether they have a vision, mission, and value. Then if they don't have that, I normally become a little reluctant. I think 100 times, should I not work with them? Because I believe if they don't have a vision, or if they're just doing a training for the sake of it, it is not going to help them. So whenever anybody asks me to do a training, I ask them, so what is that you want to get out of this? What is that your employees needs to learn more about it? So it should actually lead to a benefit for others, isn't it, friends? Right? So you also ask yourself, what is your vision in life? What is that you wanted to do in your life? When you die, anyway, we are all going to depart one day, right? What is that one thing that you want to be known for, my dear friends? You ask yourself this question. Okay, so this is vision, is that, and mission is, let me just put it very simply for you, okay? What is that you want is vision. How you do it is mission. And what is something that you need to really hold on to is values that we need to build. If you want to build a vision, you are going to use these tools, but how the values is something which actually guides you to reach your vision. I hope it's clear to all of you. Yes, nothing like being effective communication. The Pressey research says that when they did a survey amongst 50,000 employers who has got high level ratio of employees, they unanimously said that communication skills is one of the skill that they wanted to see in every employees. And that doesn't stop with your communication, your oral, your written, your expertise in presenting something, or persuading your customers, talking about a problem, or dealing with a complaint. So all these things becomes a part of communication. Do you think that you can get rid of it, friends? You can't, right? Okay, so this involves the understanding of others also, because it's always about communication is all about what you say, it's about what they understand. So unless and until you don't get a feedback, that is not complete at all. Okay, now uh, as we rightly said earlier, a leader need to move beyond being rhetoric and focus on listening to people with an effort to understand both their verbal and non-verbal communication. I remember my mentor telling me, we need to have another pair of eyes, we need to have another pair of ears, and we need to have another heart if you want to really listen to others. Isn't it beautiful, friends? So this is exactly what communication is. So most of the time, when what you only listen to what people say, or probably you will say if it is a face-to-face, it's a body language. But my feeling, okay, and what you feel, perhaps I am not able to understand. But maybe the way that I'm saying, you probably may get the feeling that I'm very passionate about the subject, right? So that is something that I call it as the fourth V. The first V is the words that I use, which is going to impact my communication. The second one is my voice modulation, how I raise my voice, how I use my tone, okay, my pace, my pause. That's all add value or essence to the words. And of course, my body language. Like, for example, see, imagine that I have switched off my video. Probably you feel like, you are listening to a robot, right? Okay. So I always love to get into that connection. And I always believe that, and this is something which I have read in one of the book, okay, like Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. So in that book, it says that before we communicate, we need to first connect with people and then converse and then communicate. I'll give you a small example. Imagine you go into the kitchen in the morning and you have two choices of for asking for a tea from your mom. You can say that, communicate directly. You can say that, can I have my coffee or tea? This could be one way. Or you can even say that, okay, I can actually smell nice aroma of my favorite tea. Okay. And then you can say that, Mama, is my coffee ready or you need any help from me? And I'm sure she'll be more than happy to talk to you in the same tone that you have delivered. Don't you think that way you are connecting? That way your conversation is there. And then you say what you want. Friends, are you all getting it? So the leaders has got a tactics of actually communicating with, connecting with people. Okay, they make you sit comfortable and then they ask some small talk with you. Then they get into the matter. So that's important. Please don't get into any kind of conversations without connecting with the people. All right. So otherwise it can lead to many problems, my dear friends. Now, a leader needs to have different styles of communication while we are working. So this is something that, which I wanted to actually talk about, the leadership and the assertiveness. Okay, this is again a topic which is very close to my heart about assertiveness, because why, I'll tell you the reason. Because when I started working, I started working in India. Then when I went abroad to Dubai, my dear friends, I was actually in tears. I was telling my husband that I wanted to quit my job. Ask me why. The reason being, I was not able to actually convince or be with them with the way that they communicate, because they all were very assertive people, whereas I was very passive, submissive, listening to them, didn't have my own decisions, whether to say a yes or a no, how to say no to certain works, overloaded with work. So I was like, totally in a different world altogether. I didn't know what to do. Okay, and that is the time my manager came to my rescue and taught about assertiveness. So if I have to say something, many of the students, because I do a lot of career development programs, so they normally come and ask me, ma'am, what is one skill that you would recommend that I should gain in my life? Of course, I agree to all these 21st century employability skills. I am not at all against it. I'm in for it. However, my life experience tells me, be assertive in your life. And what is assertiveness? I'll give you a small saying which I love, okay? Please don't break anybody's heart because they have only one. You can break their bones because they have 206 bones. All right. Jokes apart. So what is assertiveness is expressing, it's not here, okay, this is from my own words. Okay, yeah, there is actually a definition, right? It is basically expressing our own views, our own thoughts, okay, in an honest and direct style, and also in a very positive tone, but without violating the right of others. We have no right to actually put off others, but we have always the right to express your views. You know something, friends, because in this world, you will never get respect. You need to earn for it. Okay, so for that, you need to speak or express what is that you wanted to say. Okay, so basically, it is about, and if you ask me, ma'am, what are the other two types? Okay, let me just explain it to you. So the other two types, one is passive, okay, or submissive. What is that? Okay, so have you ever come across people who, like, you know, if I have to give you an example, there is a philosophical concept behind it called transactional analysis. Now, at home, when you were small, your parent, right? Your parent used to always, for that matter, tell you, don't do that, do this, do your homework, do, right, right? So you were always into that passive mode of being obedient and listening to them, right? I'm not saying that you're wrong there, okay? You need to do that. Definitely, we have to be obedient. However, even if something that you wanted to say, raise your voice, you can't, because you know a father is going to scold you or beat you, or you know, they will not hear you, right? So the passive people are at that particular, like a child, okay, they always doesn't have their own opinion. Their body language is very subtle, and they can't raise their voice in front of people. So you might have experienced it in front of certain teachers, right? But the problem with this is that they will not, you know, when you will live your life, my dear friends, we all have one life, right? When you will express your own opinion. So that's something very dangerous. And the long run, you know what happens? It's going to be a very dangerous for you, where you will completely turn your personality also. So don't get into that. Okay. Now, what is aggressive? You might have seen in your friends itself, some people are very dominating. They use the word you. You did that. You should not have done that. Dominating, and they wanted to express their point, and they will not listen to other people. So they are like the aggressive people. So assertiveness is something, basically, I only talk about myself. Okay, I'm hurt, or I wanted to this my point. Okay, without hurting other people, but be open with that. So they're socially and emotionally expressive. For example, you might have heard about people saying, "Don't worry," when you're already worried. You know, as an assertive person, if I'm in your position, I would say, I understand what you're going through right now. Let me know if I can be of help to you. If you see somebody really worried, don't say that, don't worry, everything will be fine. It's not going to happen. He's already worried. He or she's already worried. Okay, so that's what I want you to. And definitely, they know how to take compliments. They appreciate others. They look for in India, actually, there is very less words in our language to compliment other people. But if you really look into English or other European language, you'll find many words. That's exactly that we don't compliment other people. Okay, we maximum that we would say congrats. That's a wrong word. We should say congratulations. Okay, so that's how we need to change our certain behaviors, and it's not easy, I know it, but start working on that. Okay, your choice. Talk about yourself. Don't talk about other people. I've seen people saying in the meeting, "I'm okay with that. I don't know about others." Don't talk about others. You talk about only yourself. All right. So assertive people know exactly how they need to use I statements. They know how to express their own views. Okay, friends. Now we are going to get into this is one more slide, and then something important I wanted to get into another 5 minutes is about problem solving and decision making. Okay. Now, Liz, also what we need to understand is that your voice, when you're talking something in an assertive way, it should be medium. And the pitch, the medium pitch, the speed, volume while talking needs to be prudently used. The posture again, don't close your hands, open your postures and maintain a symmetrical balance. As in, when the other person is sitting, you can also sit. If the other person is standing, you also stand. This sitting standing position is not going to work. That's not an assertive way. All right. Now the gestures are even expansive. Don't keep it close to your this thing. And facial expressions always, even though you don't have a smiley face, keep a pleasant face. Okay. Maintain the eye contact as well. And also the distance that you need to keep at certain situations, because you need to be respectful also. You cannot engage their personal space or anything like that. So this is how you become assertive as well. I hope it's clear to all of you. Now coming to this topic, as the leaders also needs to imbibe a particular beautiful skill called problem solving and decision making. And this is again a subject which is close to my heart. Okay, if you ask me what is problem solving, if you really look into in our day-to-day life, okay, whether it is personal, professional, or social, there are a lot of problems around. Correct? Even cooking is a problem, right? Cooking becomes a problem if it is not cooked. Isn't it, friends? So everybody on a day-to-day basis, we are all into solving one problem or the others. Okay, so we all were into that. Having either you will be the problem maker, other will be the problem solver, or others will be the problem creator, you will be the problem solver. This is always there in our life. And when you get into the profession, why you're into your profession? Because you are there to solve somebody else's problem, right? Now, leaders considers problems as opportunities, because they know that only if there are problems, they'll have business, or they can only grow. So that's what I want you to develop, that kind of attitude in life. Okay, it's basically that a mental process wherein an individual or anyone decides what needs to be done and what should be the outcome. But that outcome should again be evaluated, where we come up with alternative solutions, and then you present it, the best one will be presented. So for that, there are a lot of processes and techniques that we need to follow also, which would help us to come up with the best solution and make the best decisions as well. So there is one beautiful saying by none other than Albert Einstein. You might have heard about it. He said that if I had an hour, okay, to solve a problem, I would spend 55 minutes thinking about the exact problem, or to identify the exact problem, and 5 minutes to find the solution. So this is exactly the world. We really don't know how to identify the exact problem, or we can even call it as a root cause analysis. Okay, so and then it is very, if you know exactly what is the cause, it's easy for us to solve the problem, isn't it so? Okay, see, imagine now your your household items, something has gone wrong. Even your mobile, sometimes this mobile acts very weird, right? Or your car, the other day it happened, my husband's car, we could not start. Okay, so it was a new car, so we were wondering what is happening. So basically, we need to understand that what is exactly the problem. We might say the problem is car is not starting. However, that is not the problem, my dear friends. Okay, we need to identify what is the exact problem. So we identified that since the car was not system for a long time, the battery is down. So look at this. We thought the problem is car is not starting. But what is the exact problem? The exact problem is the battery is down. It's time for us to recharge. So the solutions becomes easy, right? Now, just a minute, something went wrong. Okay. So there are a few steps that we need to follow, which I would like to, you can make a note of it also. So primarily, define the objective or be clear about what you want to do. Okay. So this is exactly what I said is the problem, and collect the relevant informations, what all informations that you have collected. And let me just ask you a question. Okay. Now, I remember I had a fever. Okay. Now that fever, what I did first, I had a paracetamol, but it was not, then okay, that day I was okay. So after 2 days, again, the fever came up. Okay. So again, I had a paracetamol, but however, it was not getting subsided. Okay. It was again it remained there. So then here, I understood that there is some other problem with me. Okay. So actually, I was treating for the symptom. If you really look into the fever is the symptom, but the cause is something different, right? Now I realized that, because after that I had cough, I had chest pain, I was not